Hey y'all, welcome back to Sitting with Ashley. I'm Ashley. This is the collective Convo, and we're gonna talk about your hopes and dreams. Um, I think I'm like actively receiving this download as we speak, but um, as we've been doing the What's Your Calling readings and people are coming into consciousness, and I think one of the easiest ways to lose our footing and go into spiritual psychosis is to allow others to dictate what is right for us. Whether that's through obligation or family contract or something like that, right? Like, you really want to do this, but everyone in your family has done this, or your parents want this of you, or there's a family business that's being handed down to you, but really you would rather not do that, right? Something like that. Some sort of obligation or expectation that is being held above you, so it is severing your ties with your own hopes and dreams. Um, So, I'm going to be posing some introspection questions in this segment just to help identify what it is you may have forgotten or really want to do. And this has been really coming through a lot very recently, like I would say the past couple weeks, and all the readings about, there's all these shadow aspects about um, just life in general, healing. But I think a lot of that stems from us being guided or told or um, unencouraged, like the opposite of being encouraged to follow our dreams. So, all that to say is, what is your dream? Now, these are introspection questions. So, if you have the capacity and the time, I would jot these down. You could, as you're watching this, go on your notepad if you feel comfortable doing that, or write them down if you're a 90s baby and that's your just. Did I already do Raise the Vibe today? No. I switched shit up this week. Anyway, I'm sorry, I have to multitask. I'm not pulling cards on this. I don't think I may. But the introspection questions I'm getting are who was the first person that told you that your ideas were stupid? And I'm using that word in particular because I know along the way someone told you that was a stupid idea. Was it Jimmy, at school? Was it your aunt, your uncle, your parents, your sibling? Was it the fucking dog? Were you Dr. Doolittle when you were little and you grew out of it? Whatever it is. It's funny. My landlord calls me Dr. Doolittle because of what's happening outside in the alley. Anyway, were there things that, we all had things that we were drawn to and passionate about and things that we loved. And throughout the years, we've been encouraged / forced to tone those passions down. So sometimes when we get to the root of what happened, it can really help us resolve the issue and reconnect with what it is that we actually love, right? So who was the first person to tell you that your idea was stupid? All right. That's one segment. And then who is the first person to tell you you can't do that? And it may have been the same person. Or maybe these were separate people and it happened, 3 years apart. But either way, both of those things impacted you to close up like a fucking clam and be like, okay, well, I guess it's not a good idea. Also, I have some recommendations of people to go follow on TikTok if you are seeking your authenticity. Dr. Parker is one of them. I don't know if you guys have seen this guy. He is probably one of the most unique humans on the planet right now. He's this brother from, he's in Texas, but he's definitely, he's like obsessed with like the turn of the century, from the 1800s to the 1900s. And he just lives his entire life with like antiques, and he's like this fucking electrical genius as well. And he's like sent, like he like does power grids and stuff. Okay, so let me get him for you. I think it's important when we are reconnecting with ourselves to get inspired by other people's ability to stand so firmly in their authenticity, letting them shine in the support that they received when a lot of us, most of us, I don't really like the generalization of most, I say that all the time, but I do believe it's true, because our parents were also indoctrinated in this system. Our parents were also reprimanded for not doing the things that they wanted to do, and so they carried that on, right? That's why a lot of us at this point in time as parents are doing what we can to break those cycles and to encourage our children to follow their passions again, because we see what's happened in the past 25 years, and it has only been that 25 years. I mean, it's been longer, but for us millennials who are, in the trenches and prime of parenthood, the drastic change of how life was in the 90s to how it is now with the introduction of the internet and technology slash surveillance. Most of the technological advances have been because of surveillance, right? We talked about that in the media course. But anyway, let me show you Parker quick. Parker, and then I'm also thinking that other brother who turns plastic into oil or gasoline. These guys are like fucking geniuses, and they've been supported in their path by the people close enough to be able to follow their dreams. And again, I think so many of us have been encouraged to just, tough it out, right? Oh, well, I had to do it this way. I'm thinking of when my grandparents used to, our grandparents told us about how they walked to school and it was uphill both ways, I don't know if that's anyone else's experience here, but I think the future generations really, or the past generations really, I know for me and millennials, we were very, our upbringing, our grandparents, like we were, I think, the last generation who was also close with their grandparents. Again, mostly because technology wasn't a thing, grandparents were actually present instead of just Facebook grandparents and, paparazzi, right? Just come to take pictures to share instead of like actually building relationship. Let me find Parker. My phone isn't working. If you haven't seen this guy, it's crazy. He like drives old cars and shit too. Show me Parker. And why'd you just take my... These phones, they have to be staring into your third eye for them to work. I fucking hate these things. Oh my god, why? Okay, it's not working. Anyway, those are two of the people I'm thinking. I don't know the other guy's handle. I mean, you could probably hashtag like plastic into gas or something. I don't know what hashtags he uses, but again, just exploring TikTok. Like once you have identified what it is that you remember being so passionate about when you were little. I remember in particular standing in my garage looking in one of my parents' cars' rearview mirrors, and I was doing like this commercial, right? And I was like maybe 4th or 5th grade. And I kept saying to myself, like, every girl wants to be a ballerina, but like that was never me. I mean, maybe I had like a phase, but there was something I said after that, and I've been really trying to remember what it was that I was saying, but I distinctly remember repeating myself in the mirror of my parents' car, and I don't remember what it was that I wanted, like, after, because I was giving myself this distinction of, like, me being different than what most people wanted in that time, but I don't remember what it was that I wanted. So there may be some practices that you may need to do in order to remember some things. I mean, I think when I was 23, this is what I wanted to be doing. I wanted to be hanging out and, like, doing my own thing. I think I've always wanted to be, oh, maybe I'm going to be getting this during this. I've always deeply resonated with the change makers through history when we learned about that stuff, right? I did like a Rastafarian report back in like 5th grade. Like, how did I know about what Rastafarians were? I don't know. maybe a past life situation. But anyway, what do you resonate with? What did you? Because I feel like not a lot changes from when we're little. I feel like we are so encouraged when we're little, like especially going through public school system, to like pick a field, pick a career field, and like stick with it, right? But like when my mom made me get my bachelor's degree, I didn't know what I wanted to do because I didn't even want to go to college. I'm grateful that I did. It worked out eventually, but it wasn't something I really wanted to, you know. I didn't really want to do that. But okay, hang on. I really want to find Parker because he's just like he's so unique. And I think that's the thing is with neoliberalism being introduced in the 80s, that took away the uniqueness. It took away people's ability to feel safe and secure within their own path. And you find folks on TikTok and on social media when you're searching for people who you want to, like there's this one guy, like I've been going through like a Rancid phase the past couple months. I was never really into Rancid. I think I saw him live with Blink once, maybe at Warped Tour, but I'm like really into him now that I'm older, just because of the nostalgia of that 90s punk rock like aesthetic, right? And so there's this guy I found on TikTok who like dresses like that still, and it's just like fuck yeah, you know. So like when did you lose your individuality is another question. Who told you you couldn't do it? Who told you it wasn't a good idea? Who told you it was stupid? And when did you start to embody what other people were saying about you in regards to your hopes and dreams, right? Like I've always wanted to change the world. I often resonate with here he is. He calls himself Dr. Parkenstein. He has 1 million followers. So he just buys all this vintage shit. So like I feel like he's definitely living out his past life. But he buys, vintage. This shit is from the 20s, 30s. God, that scared the fuck out of me. Okay. So, like, he's washing his clothes, and he always starts his videos the same way. So people call him a time traveler and whatnot, but he, like, drives these old cars.
Okay, today I'm going to be washing some more of my clothes.
I love him. TikTok won't let me share. His handle is Dr. Parkenstein. But I think he's 23. I think I saw that once. But he's like super cool. He's very old school. I don't really like that time frame, so I kind of get a funny feeling every time I watch him. But we're not talking about him. We're talking about the freedom, the support to embody who you actually are, embody what you desire, the things that you fucking want for your life. And I think pinpointing the time that we were told that we couldn't do that, couldn't make it happen. And then what other restrictions were placed on you? I know for me, when I went, because I've always been encouraged or, not encouraged, inspired by, I'm so tired today, I took a fucking nap. Anyway, inspired by change makers, like big change makers, like well known across the world change makers. Like that's something that I've always identified with. And I feel like as I'm in this moment right now, it makes a lot of sense how things are going. And it makes sense my path that I've been on, the things that I've been through, right? Hindsight is 20/20 sort of thing. But I'm still not where I want to be. And that's where I was going. Lily from Princess Diaries says something to Anne Hathaway's character. What's her name? Mia, the princess, when she finds out she's a princess, Lily says something to her about, do you know how frustrating it is to want to be able to make change? This is not verbatim, but like, do you know how frustrating it is to want a platform for change or to want people to hear me, but nobody listens or nobody pays attention to me? And I have always resonated with that line in the movie because that's how I've always felt about my ideas. I've shared a little bit this in my, talking about my family stuff, but like my family has always known that I was different. I remember my aunts who hate me now. I don't really care. My mom's sisters. Um, well, I know one of them hates me. I don't like her either. But the other one, I don't really care either way. But anyway, they saw this like article about these people with a bus who were driving across the United States, but it was like a first aid bus kind of thing or like something like that. And I remember because I think it may have been before I even went to college. I feel like I was in high school. And they were like, Ashley, I could see you doing something like this. And I've always seen myself as someone who travels, as someone who speaks. That's what I want to do. Obviously, I'm not there yet. But that's what I want to do. I want to travel. I want to connect people. I'm really good at bridging things. I'm really good at... So what are you good at? What are the things that you're good at in relation to what it is that you hope for and desire for? Not only you, but like your impact in the world. Because I feel like when we're little, you know, they do so much indoctrination about you being an important part of society, right? As a firefighter, as a cop, as a teacher, as a doctor, right? Those are like the four main ones that, you know, all kids are supposed to pick, right? And so for us wallflowers or black sheep or the people who see things different, neurodivergence could be a thing here as well. But like, what has always been the thing that even if you want to follow through, even if you want to do it, someone along the way has put something in your head to tell you you can't. So like I was going to share, when I applied for my master's program, took out loans, you know, my sister, how are you going to pay for that? And it was always about money with my family. It still is. My family has always, my father passed away when I was 14, 15, I don't remember, one of those. And ever since then, everything that I've desired has had a price tag on it or has been held over my head, or any support that I've needed has been consistently thrown back in my face, which is why I cut my family off, because I don't need all that. And so for me, when my sister said that, because I was like, I'm going to get my master's, and this was after incarceration, after going back, after proving myself to my family, that I could finish my undergrad even though I had to withdraw and got incarcerated, right? And then I was like, I cannot do what I'm doing right now. Like, this is so unfulfilling. I need more. So I applied for my master's, and I got into the program and was, you know, it was a graduate teaching assistant. Up until that point, no one had ever looked at me like that, like as someone who was able to contribute in those ways. I was struggling so much with my self-worth. And I feel like all by design, right? Because when people see your power, see your ability to make change, see your passion, and they're not living theirs, that's why I warn you guys all the time when we do collective readings to, you know, not allow people to pull you back down once they know that you're ascending, right? But money has always been the thing that's the only thing my family has ever been able to hold over me. And it's not just my immediate family, it's been extended family as well. But it's like my aunt's telling me, like, oh, I could see you doing this so long ago, right? Like over 20 years ago. And then me being in this space now where I'm like, I want a bus, I want to do this, I want to be able to travel. You know, with this admin, it's a little iffy, but I still have a lot of privilege as a white woman. So not financially, but systemically. And so thinking about the ways in which we can harness that privilege as well, right? And I hope I'm not centering myself too much, but I'm just giving examples. So think about, you know, if you're really stuck, and go watch some of the What's Your Calling readings too, but I felt like we just needed some more root work around this idea of you actually can achieve what it is you want. You can make your dreams a reality, even if it doesn't feel like it, but you have to remember what your dreams are. You have to remember what you're excited about, and you have to heal the voices in your head. You have to change that inner monologue from other people telling you you can't do that, that's stupid, that's impossible, what the fuck are you talking about? And what triggered this whole thing was that I just saw a woman on TikTok say, she got on TikTok and she said, why would I take advice from someone that I don't want my life to look like, right? And she started talking about cycle breakers, and I thought, this is so real, and it triggered all of these things that are coming out right now. There's such a distinct difference between people who were so supported, like Dr. Parker. The dude is so fucking weird, and I mean that with the utmost respect. But the way that his family has supported he must be, I think he has to be reincarnated, right? And he's also facilitating this narrative or this conversation around being black in those times by stepping into this time and like living in this time frame. And it's just so fucking cool. Like, he is like a living time machine. And he teaches us about all of the old technology from a smartphone. Like, it's just such a cool, he's such a good example of what's possible when you have the support. His family lives on like a couple different family communes. He's got so much support from his family. And I feel like so many of us didn't. And we were always encouraged to not do that, right? Because going back to that other collective convo about the daddy issues and the mommy wound or mother wounds, we were all extensions of our parents. They were embarrassed by us being different or too loud or proud or, and a lot of that is their own trauma that they just put on us. So again, getting to the root cause of why we went off course when we knew such a young age what it was we wanted to do. Like right now, Niall's in that age, and I am doing my best to encourage him because he's so fucking fascinated with how things work, specifically plumbing. He is fascinated by PVC pipes. We've bought him a bunch of PVC pipes because he just likes putting stuff together, and I see engineering of some sort and plumbing in his future. But like the landlord and stuff, the two guys who come and make everything better all the time, like he loves watching them, and he'll always bring his flashlight out, and I want to encourage that the most I can, right? So they have these little PVC things that I found on Temu, and I got him those, and we got him some PVC pipes. I'm looking at them, they're right there. PVC pipes from Home Depot, just so that you can encourage that. So what is it, and when that shifts for him, because we are autistic, we go through cycles of, I'm into this and hyper focused on this, but like that's the thing. And Dr. Parker is definitely on the spectrum. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that man is not on the spectrum. But anyway, I think spectrum is just this code word for people who are living in their authenticity as well, right? And we've talked about that with the spiritual gifts and other things. I think autism is a very large umbrella term for neurodivergent folks. But anyway, I hope this helps. I hope that you can use this. This full moon energy is all about karmic balance, all about, shedding of what no longer serves us and stepping into our power, stepping back into what it is we know true to ourselves or true for ourselves. And like, what are the things that what are you still holding on to, like you still want to do? Because you're not going to age out of that. Like, I was just looking at longboards, surfboards and longboards, skateboards, because I can't rock a regular skateboard, but I feel like I would probably be a little bit better with a longboard, just because I'd have more room. But like, those are things that I've always wanted to do. And again, the skater boys wouldn't take me under their wing. They were like, you're a poser and you're a girl. And I was like, okay, fine. I'll just wear my Roxy and, my jeans baggy, And then in college, my undergrad, the first time around, I was still in that aesthetic, right? Like, I wore my jeans really baggy, and I had a girlfriend, and she made fun of me, so then I started wearing, like, tighter pants, and now I don't wear jeans at all. So, like, what is it for you? What is it? Who is it that made you feel a certain way? Who made you change? Are they still in your life? If they are still in your life, I would say peep them and check the way that they're continuing to talk to you, because if they got you off course that long ago, and they're still in your life, they're still probably having some sort of power over you. I drink these I drink herbal teas, and I drink soursop leaves. And last year, the last time my mom was here, she was like, "Ew, what is that?" I'm like, that's soursop, and I'm drinking it to help my health, right? Like, that's something that I've started to do for my health, and it's been working immensely. Soursop kills cancer cells at like a 10,000 rate towards like over chemo. So natural remedies are a real thing, right? But like, so what is it that you want? What is it that you continue to hope for, continue to desire? Again, not just for you, but how can you make the world a better place with it? Okay. And then once you've done that root work, getting back your essence of innocence, of passion, then take a look at the What's Your Calling readings again, if you have already, and be like, okay, did I want to be a vet? Did I want to be a plumber? Did I want to ride on the trash truck, right? Like, who was it? Was it Miss Rachel's kid? I think for his, like, second or third birthday, he was obsessed with the trash truck. And so they went all out, and she shared it on Instagram. And so that's the thing, especially if you are a parent. First of all, your time is not up. You can do those things with your kids too. You can get them excited about what you were excited about when you were little, right? Like Christmas Day, me and Niall did like a surf lesson. I put some fucking waves on my phone, and I pulled out our surfboards, and I was teaching him like how to surf, on the deck. But like, he loved it. It was so fun. So like, whatever it is you're excited about, you never reach an age of not doing that. You just reach an age of your soul being killed off little by little by having to, clock in consistently for someone else. And there are ways to make your dreams a reality. Don't let any funding or anything get in your way. When you have those ideas, there's a lot of free money out there. We've talked about that a little bit, but right now with this admin, things are a little weird. But I would say now is the time to really put balls to the walls and make shit happen, because once all of this stuff really does go in, it's going to be harder to get a hold of some stuff. So there are a lot of grants that are not done federally. They are done through like foundations, and a lot of rich people put money towards poor people to make things better. And, you don't really need Daddy Gov to take care of that shit. So I hope this helps. I'm going to leave you with today's Raise the Vibe. Living with purpose brings me prosperity. Have a good one.